All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Bayou Bengals headed to Columbia, South Carolina today as heavy favorites over the South Carolina Gamecocks. And when it was all said and done, LSU had to pack a lunch, okay, in order to survive the Gamecocks. LSU found themselves in an early 17-point deficit in the second quarter. Things could have been much, much worse today if you're the LSU Tigers, as South Carolina left points on the board, okay? Two pick sixes that were called back due to penalties, a nullified 2-point conversion in the second half for South Carolina, a missed field goal, so many missed opportunities today for South Carolina. I mean, this LSU defense, they had their flashes, but at the same time, uh, South Carolina had too many chunk plays against them. LSU gave up 243 yards on the ground today to South Carolina. You think about Rocket Sanders and what he was doing out of the backfield, and of course, quarterback Lenora Sellers. And running wise, they really never had an answer for him. I mean, I know that Lenora Sellers left this game with an injury, and that really changed the tenor in favor of Louisiana State in this contest. And like getting back to it, LSU, they just simply had to dig themselves out of that deficit. They found a way to crawl back into this one. And I think, this game right here makes a compelling case to be the best game of this college football season so far. There's plenty to clean up, okay, if you're LSU and Brian Kelly. I mean, 9 penalties today, but South Carolina had 13. And of course, this isn't the first time that we're talking about this with LSU having a large number of penalties. You go back to the season opener in Vegas against USC, and if maybe LSU doesn't commit as many penalties, we're talking about the outcome of that game a little bit differently than we are right now. Uh, LSU committed 2 turnovers today. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse, but then South Carolina turned the ball over 3 times themselves. I'll say this, okay? Winning conference road games is never easy. And I know that LSU was favored in this contest, but this is more than just a Gamecocks team. Okay, this is a good team because we just saw South Carolina rather go to Lexington last week and beat Kentucky 31-6. Ask Georgia right now how tough that Kentucky is. Okay, because that game is going on right now and it's tight. All right, but LSU, it wasn't pretty. You can say whatever you want about it, but they found a way to win. I'll ask this question to anybody out there, excuse me, who's an LSU fan. How confident do you feel about this team going forward? You saw them lose to USC. They came back clearly, beat up on Nickel State last week, and survived this contest right here. But you're looking at the next two for LSU. They host UCLA this Saturday, game they should win, and then they host South Alabama before they get a week off before they host Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is looking like a juggernaut right now. And what does Ole Miss do better than most teams in the country? The Rebels run the football. So this LSU run defense is really going to have to be up for the challenge. You look at South Carolina, they had LSU dead to rights today. They couldn't put them away. Shane Beamer, who I think is doing a phenomenal job at South Carolina, he's going to look back at this game tape and see when they got away from him and his squad. And of course, losing your quarterback, your starting quarterback late, really didn't help things. I mean, Lenora Sellers had 88 yards on the ground. He's not known as a great passer, okay, but nonetheless, he did enough with this offense to give South Carolina rather an opportunity to win. And again, they're going to go back and look at the penalties. They're going to go back and look at those 2 pick sixes that got called back. And I mean, this crowd was live. Everybody was into it. And if you're South Carolina, you're just simply sitting back right now saying, you know what, we let that one get away. But I'll tell you like this, I think South Carolina has graduated from just being a program under Shane Beamer that you could say, hey, you know what? We got to go out there and strap on our chin straps if we're going to beat this team. No, this is a South Carolina team that expects to win. This is a South Carolina team that expects to be among the upper echelon teams in the SEC. They've been playing like it. Their coach is preaching it, and you could see the results each and every Saturday afternoon when they take the field. But nonetheless, if you're LSU, whew, that's all you can say. It was not pretty, okay, but they found a way to win. Their playmakers stepped up when they had to in those key moments. And of course, if you're the Bayou Bengals, you're going back home to Baton Rouge with a win. Like I said, plenty to clean up if you're LSU, still with the penalties, still your inability to stop the run game. And if LSU cannot do that, it's really going to catch them and bite them in the derriere at some point this season. But nonetheless, arguably one of, if not the greatest games early on in this college football season. LSU, they escaped South Carolina. You want to say that they have nothing to be ashamed of, but they really played like a team that should have won today. Okay, but nonetheless, to the victor goes the spoils as the Bayou Bengals survive. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.